Welcome back to our All-Star Championships, where we saw Volcano batter our former reigning champions 259 twice, and leaving barely anything left. And fair warning, this heat won't be like last heat. But there will be a lot of flipping chaos, and it's going to be great to witness. So let's check out the battle board, shall we? Coming up, we'll be seeing M2 taking on the current runners-up of Series 2, Angry. Our current third-place winners, Earthquake, will be taking on the powerful flipper of Freewave. But first up, it's the Rambot of Smidsy up against the powerful flipper of Volcano Alert. Smidsy. Rambot. Once again, making the death or glory before crashing out of that stage. The front wedge to help lift others off the ground, with the rear spinning blade to add rear defense. The machine can also run both ways up, but that's unfortunately its major issue, as it's easily flippable. Volcano Alert. Flipper. A very well protected front to make frontal assaults extremely difficult to pull off, which actually help Volcano Alert get underneath to fire the flipper to throw the opponents up and over. The rear has good protection as well, but the flipper only has limited flips due to using CO2 extremely fast.
Roboteers, stand by.
Smidsy with the lifting wedge and the rear blade, and Volcano Alert with the CO2 flipper.
3, 2, 1. Activate.
So, who will be Well, I don't think I've seen Smidsy collide with the machine and bounce off it, but they're underneath Volcano Alert, and it is possible to get underneath them, especially at that angle. Ooh, but not where those forks are. Okay, maybe it is possible to get underneath those forks. A frontal assault, however, Smidsy, probably not the smartest thing, especially when Volcano Alert's flipper is located there, and they can use that to toss you up and into the air and out the arena, and that's what they've done! And skirting the pit of oblivion there, Volcano Alert. Well, Smidsy out relatively quick and easily. Volcano Alert, they go through. I don't think there was any real trouble there for Volcano Alert. They could defeat Smidsy like that. Next up, Earthquake and Freewave. Earthquake. Flipper. Team Shock's new machine has done so much better than they did in the last wars, and went through more fights than any other machine in the series. It's very fast, and the armor's tough, and it self-rights well. But the self-righting isn't as effective when it's on its rear back, and the side where the wheels aren't as well protected. Freewave. Flipper. The soft armor makes it very resilient to spinning blades, and the flipper has serious power behind it, but it's been struggling recently to drive, and there is a limited gas supply. Plus, it has a tendency to flip itself up and over.
Roboteers, stand by.
Two flippers, Earthquake, front hinged, Freewave, rear hinged.
3, 2, 1. Activate.
Who will be better? Well, that was poor, wasn't it, from Freewave? They misfired their weapon, and Earthquake now underneath and flipping them up and over. And Freewave are in trouble here. They keep mistiming their flippers. There's something wrong with it, I wonder. They're stuck on the spikes. They've self-righted, and they've flipped themselves again. Self-rights, but not back onto their wheels. And now Earthquake placing them on the floor flipper, which sends them away. And they try to flip themselves back, but not enough. And now they're back on the floor flipper again. And now they self-right. What are they doing? And well, sure, why not? Look at this. Up and over. And that's the end of Freewave. That's one of the reasons people like Freewave. Anyway, they're out. Earthquake go through. Next up, M2 and the runner-up, Angry. M2 Flipper. They made the heat final just like they did in the last wars before going out to the arena again. The flipper is very strong, it's fast and agile, and the design of the robot helps it get back on its wheels faster. But there's a bit of a ground clearance at the rear, and it has weak armor. Angry Flipper. Coming runner-up in the second series, and have done extremely well to make it as far as they did. The flipper is very powerful and the drive is very quick, but there is a limited gas supply, meaning that if it gets flipped over, it won't be able to self-right.
Robot ears, stand by.
2 flippers, M2, and the current runner-up of Series 2, Angry.
3, 2, 1. Activate. Go.
And I've got a feeling Angry will definitely take advantage of M2's ground clearance and throw them over, which they do. And M2 getting away. Oh! But Angry on the edge of the pit and nudged in by M2. And that's poor Angry. They are the ones who launched the first attack. And M2 somehow steal their victory. That is just... Don't do that. That's just mean and bullying. That's just mean, M2. That's horrid. But M2 go through. Angry, however, they crash out into the losers melee with Freewave and Smidsy. Only one of these machines can come back to round 2. Let the losers melee begin.
Robot ears, stand by.
Smidsy with the lifting wedge and spinner. Both Freewave and Angry with CO2 flippers.
3, 2, 1. Activate.
Now, can Freewave do better? Well, they've mistimed their flip again. So, clearly the answer to that question is no. Angry, throwing over Smidsy. It's not really going to affect Smidsy all that much. They can run both ways up. Meanwhile, Angry pressurizing Freewave. There's the spike and there's Freewave. Well, Freewave flipped themselves onto their flipper and now they can't do anything. Smidsy now righted and throws out Freewave into the pit. And now are being pressurized completely by Angry. And this is turning out to be a much better fight. Oh, for a minute there I thought, Angry were going to throw themselves. And I think they have. They've thrown themselves into the pit. And they've given the fight to Smidsy now. Smidsy, the last bot standing, and coming in with the rear blade to do some extra damage. There's no real point, Smidsy. Angry's in the pit and out. Freewave, I don't think they ever got going. Smidsy, back in the fight. Well done. And truth be told, I think the only real reason Smidsy is here is because Angry threw it. Threw themselves down the pit. They're out along with Freewave. Here's round 2. Smidsy now back in the fight. They'll have to take on M2. But before we get there, Earthquake will be tangling with Volcano Alert.
Robot ears, stand by.
Volcano Alert with the CO2 powered flipper. And Earthquake with the CO2 powered front hinged flipper.
2, 1. Activate.
The aim of the game is ground clearance. Who can get underneath the other machine first? I'm wondering if Volcano Alert is trying to make sure it's not them who get flipped. Trying to find a way around Earthquake and gets a good flip in. And again, mistimed that flip that time. But so far, Earthquake needs to get on board. They're both stuck on the spikes. And Volcano Alert trying to throw themselves away. and self-rights onto the wall. Now, how will they get away from that? Earthquake, and they're out of CO2 and into the pit. And that's it for Volcano Alert. Oh, no, it's not. Volcano Alert is out of the pits, though I'm pretty sure they'll be considered gone anyway. Well, they will now.
Cease.
Out of the arena, and that's the end. An earthquake reverses into the pit themselves. Well, might as well. Hey, earthquake, they go through. Next up, M2 and Smidsy.
Robot ears, stand by.
M2 with the CO2 powered flipper, and Smidsy with the lifting wedge and the rear spinning disc.
3, 2, 1. Activate.
Now, both these machines have had modicum of success in the main competition. Smidsy always making it to the death or glory, and M2 making it to the heat final. So I think in that respect, M2 probably the more favourites. They've already flipped Smidsy up and over, and M2 were way too close to the pit of oblivion for comfort. And again, eesh. It's like they're trying to throw themselves out of the competition, or are they trying to desperately throw Smidsy out? Yes, they are! Into the pit! And Smidsy are not coming back from that one. Another flip. The Caesar's caught. Look at this. Great drive, and a flip again. And down the pit of oblivion goes Smidsy. Well done, M2. They're through to the heat final. Although, I'm not sure if I should be congratulating them all that soon, because look at the lineup here. For round 3, they're up against third place winners of Series 2 Earthquake. And truth be told, I think this is going to be Earthquake's fight. M2, the ground clearance might cause them an issue, but truth be told, it is Robot Wars, and upsets do happen. Two different type of flippers. Earthquake with front hinged, M2 rear hinged. Here's what they got here. Earthquake didn't really have much of a problem against Free Wave. Something went wrong with their flipper. They kept misfiring their flips. They were able to right themselves, but that was about it. The floor flippers sealed their fates as they flipped and flipped themselves out of the arena. And that was the end. Free Wave. And then Volcano Alert. A bit of a cagey fight. They got a few flips on Earthquake, but then they came back on Volcano Alert, flipped them over, they self-righted onto the wall, took themselves away, and then ran out of CO2, and then got them towards the wall, one flip, and that was over and out for Volcano Alert as Earthquake threw themselves down the pit. Meanwhile, M2 struggled at taking on Angui, but Angui caught themselves on the edge of the pit. M2 nudged them in. And then took on Smidsy, flipped them up and over, and then it was just 1-2 flip, and that was the end of Smidsy into the pit of oblivion, and out of the competition.
Robot ears, stand by.
Earthquake with the CO2-powered front-hinged flipper, M2 CO2-powered rear-hinged flipper.
3, 2, 1. Activate.
Go.
Again, a game of ground clearance, and I think Earthquake has M2 beat on that because M2 has a high ground clearance, and Earthquake can take advantage of that no problem. Earthquake didn't fire their flipper there though. Why? M2 can use that now as a way of getting back at you, but Earthquake still coming in hard. M2s, they can't get underneath Earthquake until that point, and out they go, and that's Earthquake over and out. Look at this. There's M2 pushing away and underneath flipped and gone. And that's Earthquake over and out of the competition. And it's M2 through to the All-Stars Grand Finals. They're getting buffeted about by the arena spike. Yeah, I'd get away from that if I were you. Well done, M2. An absolutely shocking turn of events is our current third place Grand Finalists go flying out of the arena to a machine that only made the Heat Final. Well done, M2, and look forward to seeing you in the Grand Finals. Take care, everyone, and I'll see you next time. Farewell.